Hi again, this is Åsa with a process video. Today I am scrapping 3 photos of my son. They were taken this summer when we went for a short visit to Stockholm, the capital of our lovely country, Sweden. We were there for just a couple of hours going to see my mom, who lives further south in the country. So we went to Stockholm. We went to the museum, the Armory Museum at the Stockholm Castle, and there they have a play section where kids can dress up as knights and maidens and princesses and kings and wear helmets and armor and all those fun things. And my son, of course, loved it. So he dressed up like a knight and got his ring mail and a shield and everything, a sword, a wooden sword. So what you see on the screen is that I have taken out some ancient Heidi Swap shipboard alphas, and they are raw shipboard, and I will paint them with mica colors. It's watercolors, sparkly watercolors. They have a lot of pigment, so they cover very, very well. I've had them for many years and used them mainly for these purposes of coloring in shipboards, and they, even though they are watercolors and you need to add water, you only need to add very little water so to cover the shipboard. It's a very nice paint. While I'm at it, I also color the wood veneers. They are horses. Got them from Studio Calico in a farm set. I painted both sides because I didn't know if I wanted them facing left or right. And I have a shipboard frame that I also color with this copper gold color paint. And I tried to see what happened if I painted it on that little ball chain, but it didn't work at all. It needs to be another type of a paint. Then I set those aside to dry while I started cropping the photos. I had 3 photos that I wanted to use, and I thought I'd get rid of as much background noise as possible, so I cut away things that I didn't feel fit in the photo. So by doing this, I get to use 3 photos and still not waste a lot of space on my layout. As I always do, I put the photos together with some office tape on the back. The pattern paper that I'm using are from Hot of the Press, a collection pack that I bought a couple of years ago because I needed to have it. I was totally crazy about it, and I didn't know where I would find it, and the shipping from over there is horrible and totally ridiculous. But I managed to find it here in Sweden, and I bought a pack and I have loved it. It's quite hard to use because the collection pages are so similar, and you can't really use them with a lot of other papers that I have. But for these kind of masculine, boyish kind of pages, it works really, really nice. I've decided to use the patchwork paper as a background, and that more like a metal plate paper I will use to mat my photos, and also to put a background behind that frame. Later I will also use the same paper to make shields for decoration on the page. My title will be Knight Viggo, and it's Riddare Viggo. In Swedish, my son's name is Viggo, and those small horses will fit perfectly into that frame. So now I'm starting to get where this page will actually go. I had taken out a whole bunch of metal embellishments and brads and those paper clips that you can see on the photo, but I end up using none of them. They didn't fit, and they weren't I didn't need them. It turned out that the shields that I'm planning to make will do very well as embellishment. So by now I've decided that this photo block needs to go onto the background so that I can start plan the rest of the page. And I think that metal patchwork paper as a background picks up just the right colors from the photos and gives the right feeling for this whole layout. I glued down the title. I finally decided to put it on top of the photo block, actually standing on top of the photo. And that's kind of a method of keeping it all together, instead of placing them on top of the photo mat. I'm gluing it down with my Scotch liquid adhesive. It's called what's it called? Strong and Precise glue it's called, and it's my favorite wet glue, so I try and always have it in my stash. I decided to make a frame around the page, and I decided to cut off a couple of millimeters along the outer edge of the page and then mount the whole thing on a black piece of cardstock. Framing is really good if you think the pattern paper is taking up too much space, and since I use black cardstock a lot, I wanted to save up some cardstock and only use the outer edge of the paper. A good tip, I think, especially if you use cardstock for die cutting, like I do. I didn't film when I made the final embellishment on this page. I don't know why, but I didn't. So I decided to make one extra so that you can see how I made them. The first thing I did was to fold a piece of scrap paper in half, and I just freehand cut the shape of a shield, like the one my son is holding in the photos. It's got somewhat of a point at the bottom, and then the edges at the top are cut off. I then trace the template that I made onto the pattern paper that I will make the shield of. and cut it out. I really want to freehand cut and cut more decorations and make embellishments myself to my pages, so I think this was a really nice a way of doing this. I will use a pearl maker pen. It's like a liquid pearl medium effect paint. This one is golden, and I am just drawing a line just on the edge of the shield to form a kind of a metallic border, and then it takes a bit like forever to dry up. And here is the finished page with 5 of those shields and my happy son in his armor. I hope you like this process video and the finished layout. See you soon. This is Åsa. Bye.